Let's look back a couple of years. Matter of fact, a few years. Back when Kathleen Kennedy was put in charge of Lucasfilm under Disney. Let's think about what she said during that conversation. We are here to protect these characters, this lore, this world, this mythology. We are here to protect these things, she said. She was going to make sure to honor the legacy that George had left behind. And what did she do? She hired people that thought like her. In a socio-political sense, she hired people to create an echo chamber. She hired people that were not interested in creating Star Wars. She was hiring people that were interested in pushing ideology, an extremist ideology, a far-left ideology, one that is built on racism, sexism, bigotry, division, and hatred. And what did that story group do? Instead of coming together with the many decades of material that they had to put together decent stories for the Star Wars fandom, they threw out the expanded universe. They threw out decades of lore because they didn't want to have to pay the creators who fashioned these things for us. Stories that people loved, that became immersed in, that expanded their knowledge of the Star Wars universe, that honored the mythology, the mythos, the characters, the legacy of George Lucas. They took these things and they threw them away. They wiped their collective asses with it. And then they gave us Rey and the First Order and Snoke. They gave us things that had some potential. They gave us Finn, something we had never had before, a stormtrooper who turned, teased that he was going to be a Jedi. But then they also gave us a deadbeat dad in Han Solo, a completely unrecognizable character from who we had grown to love in the original trilogy and the expanded universe. When people had a problem with this, they were silenced. Brian Young called fans trying to save the expanded universe militant and shitty Star Wars fans. That's where it started. Didn't really hit the heat until The Last Jedi by writer and director Rian Johnson. And when the fandom collectively, the traditional Star Wars fandom, came together, when we coalesced out of the ether of disenfranchised fans, after franchise was being used for socio-political rhetoric and propaganda, what happened? We were attacked by these creators. We saw snippets from inside Disney Lucasfilm of our favorite characters with X's over their faces. We saw creatives drinking from fanboy tear mugs. We heard lines from old troublemakers from back from Gamergate, repeating the same tired bullshit. Racist, sexist, misogynist, 30, 40-year-old white men living in their mother's basement, blah, blah, blah. Not once did anyone in Disney Lucasfilm come to our defense. Not once was there an apology made. Not once did any of the publications under Disney come to protect the fandom. What did they do? Well, they allowed the shills and the access media and the mainstream media to call us toxic fans. And what did we do? We came together as the fandom menace. We came together to protect, support, and defend one another. And we've been talking about the same thing for 2 years, the same points, yet detractors and shills and anti-fandom menaces, they don't hear anything. And they keep repeating the same garbage, the same bullshit narratives that we have been defending our friends, ourselves, and our family against for 2 years. So here we are, the Rise of Skywalker is about to drop. And the same things that the fandom menace has been saying for years, well, it seems to be getting echoed out of the shills who have been reinforcing that false narrative, attacking us and our family and our friends. Our friends in the fandom. The same lies, the same bullshit that they've been saying for years. Now, all of a sudden, they're using our talking points. They sound like the Fandom Menace. They sound like posers. Those liars. What about the mainstream media? CNN just put out a hit piece on the Fandom Menace without naming us because they're too scared. J.J. Abrams dropped our name, didn't he? Because we're in their heads. They know we're there. And here we are as different people reviewing this film. Traditional shills like Collider can't even stomach it. Why? Well, let's look back a little bit. Who was Kathleen Kennedy's audience? SJWs, far leftists, identity politic people who don't care about who you are. They only care about what you are. If you're a token, if you could be used as a shield, if it could be used to espouse their bullshit rhetoric. Why? Because Orange Man bad. I don't give a shit about Trump. Get your politics out of my entertainment. Get your derangement out of my entertainment. And this audience that they've been catering to, these sick Raylos who stalk Adam Driver, wish for his kid to be dead, and stalk Daisy so they can live out their sick fantasy of these people having sex. Well, now they're pissed. You know why they're pissed? Because they had to backtrack off of 8. Because even though they said it was the plan the whole time, they had to backtrack. They had to make corrections. They realized that the fans were pissed. The vocal minority of fans, toxic fans. You know, your customers, Disney. That we weren't going to pay for your shit. So now you've done pissed off the Kathleen Kennedy audience, the SJWs. Now you've done pissed them off. Now nobody likes you. Fire Kathleen Kennedy. Hail the Fandom Menace. We have been right the entire time. Doomcock was right. Without respect, we reject. We do not kneel. Hail the Fandom Menace.
Hail to the Fandom Menace.
What's going on, my
Muted. Whoa.
Hey,
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Oh, hail the Fandom Menace, my friends.
So for years now, we've been saying the same thing, and now the shills and the access media, they seem to be using our talking points. Now, I'm confused. Are we a small minority of toxic fans, or are we the fans? I'm confused.
I think the confusion is with them. They are very confused right now. They don't know what to feel. They don't know what to think. When JJ and the cast started to attack Rian Johnson and that mess they called The Last Jedi, I think that is what really started this ball rolling. They all lost their collective minds. Okay. Now they don't know what to do. Do we side with Ryan, or do we just, you know what, bag this mofo up, finally admit? And they're not admitting, because they don't have an idea which way or what way, up or down. They're not fans. They follow the corporate overlord. And right now, JJ set precedents and said, screw the Last Jedi. We got to save this movie. And what have we heard about this movie? It sucks. So now the shills, Bear, you know it, brother. And what are they going to do? Are they going to follow JJ? No, because that's a burning train wreck too. It's time that they start protecting their own asses. Well, guess what? Come on over, okay? We're nice. We don't forgive right away. I won't forgive. I won't speak for everyone. But for the things they have said, for the things people have tweeted at me, for the responses I've gotten on my videos, the isms and the ists I've been called, you're going to have to earn that. You're going to have to earn that.
Absolutely. And every single shill and every access and mainstream media slate has been reinforcing that. Those attacks on us, on our families, on our friends. They have apologizing to do before I ever show them any kind of respect. Collider, own up. Own up. I don't care if you give them a bad review. You need to own up for pushing those narratives, for attacking the fans.
I mean, they talked about us as a joke. They talked about, I am right now, I'm almost 44, but I am the 43-year-old white male in his basement. I own it. It ain't my mama's,
You're in your
but I'm in
basement?
that basement. Okay. Those movies were meant for me. Okay. Those movies are about my childhood and they started off right, but you have them all for the last, 2016, it started it all, right, my friend?
And
And
we've
it
got
just, go ahead.
we've got a lot of people in the fandom that started with the prequels, right? I mean,
Yep.
they're two different scopes, man. You
Yes.
look at, I like the prequel.
Hey, someone's got something to say. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello, Darth Vader.
Hey, little bear.
Hello, bear.
They
That
say
is
hello.